North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The weather is getting colder, the leaves are falling, and hockey season is back in full effect. Lock in your seats for all 3 Stars games next month for the price of 2 games by purchasing a November package today. You'll get tickets for Military Night on November 4th against Cedar Rapids, the November 17th playoff rematch versus Des Moines, and the Blackout Wednesday game against Tri-City on November 22nd. Don't miss out on 3 great nights at the Icebox. Get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's the Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, the Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
This is the TeamMates Mentoring Hour, coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studio and online at theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I am Harrison Arns here with Jim Bennett and Audrey Watson, both representing Teammates tonight. And you guys been on a few times. How many is this for now?
6.
I'm sorry, say that again. I had your mic off.
No, you're good. Probably like 6 times for me, but first time in your new cool studio.
Okay. And Jim, how many times have you been on here?
Gosh, this
Gotta
year.
be a handful.
Oh, yeah. I think it's about 5 or 6, yeah.
Okay. Well, since this is your first time in the new studio, Audrey, what are your thoughts?
I love it. I will say I was hoping for some 7 p.m. coffee. It's been one of those days. But no, I love it. It's so cool. You can see O Street from here, and there's like cameras everywhere, and it looks really cool. It's really cool in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is the Teammates Mentoring Hour. If you want to get involved with Lincoln Teammates, just go to lincolnteammates.org. I do want to mention we have 36 ticket listeners currently mentoring this year, which is super awesome, an upgrade from last year. We want to continue to keep bumping that number. So 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. If you guys have questions, maybe want to get involved, ask Audrey or Jim Bennett, possibly get their emails, try to figure out if this is something for you. Definitely feel free to do so throughout the show. But kind of getting things going here at this point with Teammates, I just kind of want to ask you guys, what are some of the things that are really going well for you? Some maybe upcoming events that you're excited about?
We have a lot of stuff going on.
It never settles.
Yeah, we're trying to recruit 365 mentors this year.
Okay.
And so I guess shouldn't not just recruit but train. And so we're out all over the place. We've done over 40 recruiting events already this school year. And then come up in January will be National Mentoring Month. And so we'll make a huge push in January. So chances are the listeners out there will see us in other places, on the radios, on TV, in magazines. We're going to really push out and really see what we can do it for January. And then the governor last year declared February a Nebraska Mentoring Month. So maybe
the fun continues.
We're just going to keep going. Yeah. So we're just going to be busy. They'll see us. You'll see us around town. Maybe we'll come to your business, and that's something else that we would do if somebody's listening and they want us to come talk to their folks at their work or their church or wherever they're associated with. We would be glad to come and talk a little bit about Teammates and see if we can get some more mentors.
So that's about half of our staff. I mean, we're always all recruiting, we're always all supporting, but half of our staff's job is dedicated to recruitment and the other half is support. So all of that's happening with recruitment. And then me and our other support team members are doing academies with matches. We're doing activities. We're doing community service. All these things to let mentors, they have support. They have a team behind them. So just because you're recruited, we don't just stop talking to you after that.
Yeah, because we can recruit all day long, but if we can't keep people mentoring, keep them coming, right, and support them, then we're just going to be on a treadmill. We'll lose just as many as we train. Yeah. So we really want to make sure that when people come to Teammates, they know that there's somebody there that's going to take care of them, that there's someone who's going to answer questions. And Audrey and her team do that really, really well. And then also every school in the city of Lincoln has a facilitator that will help match them, answer questions within the school. So there's a network of people out there that really do this work and do it good. Do it well.
Yeah, I kind of want to dive into that because I know that is very important. You guys have multiple layers of assistance that you guys can use. I want you to dive a little deeper on that because I think a lot of people, they kind of get that fear, anxiousness, thinking like, man, once I'm in this, I got to see it out. I'm on my own here. But I know there's a lot of support around you.
Yeah,
I'm going a little bit of depth about that.
Yeah, I mean, just starting at the very basic level, you have mentor-mentee. That mentee has other adults in their life. The mentor is not the only caring adult in their life. There's usually a parent or a teacher or whoever it might be. There's other adults supporting that youth. So first and foremost, it's not all on the mentor. Mentors are not parents. They're not teachers. They're just there to listen, be a caring friend. So that pressure, is released immediately. You don't have to play those roles. You're there as a specific person in their life. So then if you have a question, you can go immediately to a facilitator in your building. And that's usually like a coordinator, administrator. Sometimes they're teachers or counselors. And they are always actively trained on youth development and youth trends. And so they're a great person. They know the student. They know the student's family. So they're a great sense of support. And then even beyond that, you have me and Stacy and Jess, and we're all match support specialists. We have mentors that call in with things like as simple as scheduling all the way to, some of those more complex situations. And so we give out a lot of activity ideas. We give out a lot of encouragement. We do a lot of just listening.
Right.
And then beyond that, you even have Jim who takes some of those even bigger calls. So there's just a whole team in place. There's always someone to turn to, someone to ask for ideas, someone to ask for support. And above all, mentors should just know that they're not the only person in this student's life. They're not there to make sure the grades are being made. They're not there to make sure the students brushing their teeth at night. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they get to be a caring friend.
So when I'm out recruiting, I always say, you don't have to know how to do algebra. You don't have to be a math tutor. And a lot of people are relieved by that. And then I happened to be recruiting at an engineering firm, and I started saying, you don't have to be math tutors. And I thought, oh wait, you guys are comfortable with that. Like, this is something.
Actually, we want you.
I wasn't being very comforting. They're like, oh darn, I can't tutor math.
Yeah, maybe that's why you don't got to teach them art.
No, exactly. There you go. There you go.
My mentee literally asked me a geometry question today, and I was like, I'm not gonna be able to help you with that. I'm sorry. Like, I can Google an answer for you, but it's probably not going to be as good as just going to your teacher.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have some training spots available. But before we do that, I do want to quick shout out our sponsor, because in some of those training sessions, there will be Wingstop available. I think that's usually Fridays, right? Those Friday sessions where you get the Wingstop.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So again, the Teammates Mentoring Hour is proudly co-sponsored by Wingstop, proudly helping feed mentors in the training process to make Lincoln and the surrounding area a better place with Teammates. Order your own wings online at wingstop.com or visit any of their 3 locations. Do I want to talk about those training spots coming up, though? You have a space available on Tuesday, November 7th from noon to 3 p.m. and Friday, November 17th from 4 to 7 p.m. And again, that Friday, you guys even have the notes there. Yummy Wingstop
I was
training.
just going to say, Christine has really amped up the Wingstop training, the yummy training.
Yeah, we don't really call it that, but it is yummy, but it's we don't call it that.
So if someone's out there listening and they think, maybe I can make one of those times, one of those spots, probably thinking the Friday one with the Wingstop, but nonetheless, how can they get that? What's that first step into getting involved for that training spot?
I'd say probably just you can do it a couple different ways. One, you can apply to be a mentor, and then that starts the whole process in motion, and we'd get a hold of you and set you up for one of those training sessions, or if you couldn't do one of those 2, we'd set you up for one later. But you could also just call our office. You can call 436-1990, 436-1990, and you can talk to anybody who answers the phone, because we're all answering those questions all the time. So yeah, that's probably the best way. You can also go to lincolnteammates.org and get our contact information and more information there. And that's also a place where you can sign up to be a mentor.
And you can attend training before you fill out a mentor application. We actually have people that do that. They want to see what it's all about. I think most people after the training are like, yeah, I think I want to do this. This sounds like the program for me.
Right.
And so that's certainly an option. You don't have to do like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You can do your training and then your application.
And Harrison, you were mentioning that maybe there's some apprehension, and we do see that when people, especially before training, people not sure what they're getting into, what it's going to look like in action. But really, we send out surveys and talk to people, and 90+% of people say that after training and after going through the process, they feel ready to mentor, and that's what we're doing, right? We're making sure people are equipped and feel supported and know that they can do this. So for anyone out there with the apprehension is very natural and normal.
Yeah.
It's strange. I think I said this last time I was on, but I felt it. And I've been
sure.
I've been working with kids since 1990 for 30 years, and I'd never get nervous talking to a student, but here I was kind of thinking, oh man, this is kind of a bigger deal than what I've done in the past. So I felt it a little bit, and Audrey's saying she felt it, but so we just want to let people know that that's natural. But if you work with us and you walk with us through this process, we'll get you ready, and we'll get you supported, and we'll get you get you lined up really nicely.
I think that comes with anything new that you do. There's always a little bit of apprehension, and sometimes those new things become some of the best things in your life. And so this could very well be one of those things. I just did a whole bunch of trainings on creativity to our middle school matches.
Right.
And one of the quotes I always brought up was, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. So if you feel like you're not going to be a good mentor, you're not sure if you're going to be good at it, come to training, check it out. Don't just say no without finding out more about it.
Yeah, and I think that's like you were kind of saying, it's a totally healthy, apprehension to have, because you're realizing if I'm going to be involved in this kid's life, I have to be serious about it. But when you go through the training, it feels like a lot of people kind of realize it's they ease up a little bit more. They realize I just got to show up and have my personality. And the more people you bring in here with more teammates, I keep hearing awesome stories just from the training session. What is about those training sessions where everyone leaves with a massive smile on their face?
Right.
Well, I think people that are interested in mentoring are people that are interested in people. Like I want to get to know someone. I want to hear their story. And that's one of the things you do in trainings is it's people from all walks of life, ages, backgrounds. And so to hear their experiences and to hear their motivations and be able to be like, oh, that's really interesting. Like you're already learning from people. Now imagine a youth who's that much younger than you, has a totally different walk of life. What are you going to learn from them? So I think it's just exciting to know those things. And people that are interested in mentoring are people that are wanting to make those connections.
Well, and it's not just a 3-hour PowerPoint. It's a interactive session where people
Lecture
talk
class.
and learn from each other and really and we have activities and things that we do. One of the ones that we do, which I think is important and really speaks to like kind of boundaries and kind of aligns people in what they can expect we call it a mentor is and a mentor isn't, right? So Audrey spoke to this a little bit ago. A mentor is not a parent. It's not you're not a teacher. You're not a counselor, but what a mentor is a trusted adult, is someone who listens and someone who is consistent. And so we really line up and we do that activity every time. And people like that because then it really tells them what it will be about and what it won't be about. And so they know that. So I think it eases fears and it eases just that tension that we just spoke to a little bit ago. So I think that's probably why. And I think people it's a relief to feel ready.
Yeah. And I mean, Jim mentioned it. We talk a lot about you just have to be there. You just have to be there. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. You don't have to be good at math. You don't have to be the best Uno player. I play slapjack with my mentee every week, and I have never won a game ever in my life, but she loves it. And I think because she's very competitive, but like, you don't have to be good at slapjack to be a mentor. You just have to be there. You just have to show up. You have to be adaptable. So there's certainly qualities to our mentors that we kind of look for. But at the end of the day, your only job is to show up. And I think when they hear that from the students themselves, the mentees themselves, we show videos, we show quotes in training. And so you can see like, oh, so what they're telling me of what I have to do as a mentor is what all of these students, all of these senior students are saying has helped support them through their education.
Yeah. They always say we do a senior video every year and we have just from their words, what it means to them. And one of the things we see on every senior video is he or she just kept showing up. they kept coming. and that's what all the research says. It's not what you do in those meetings and it's not how long you meet. It's that you come consistently. And that's when change happens for young people.
We've been doing senior meetings and the last couple that we've had, there's been kids that are like, how many years has it been since third grade? Because part of the application they're filling out is how long they've been matched with their teammate. And I'm like, oh, third grade is probably going to be about 10 years when you graduate. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've been with them for 10 years. Like, it's like unbelievable that, oh, wow, this person's been with me since I was a third grader in school and now I'm senior graduating. And so I think it's really cool when that realization hits them when they're seniors.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, I think another thing that's probably cool is when you enter those training rooms, imagine you see a lot of your community members all in there. And you kind of get that feeling. It's like, man, we're all driving for this one thing. Gives you kind of just a good feel of home. Like, man, I'm in a room of people that all care about the next generation. I want them to do well. Because again, those guys are going to be taking over. And it's cool that, you imagine you get some business members in there. And what does that kind of look like to have some of those businesses that allow their coworkers to go out there and mentor those kids?
Right. Well, and I want to say one more thing before I go to the businesses is that, when they're in there, sometimes you'll see people who will say, my dad is a mentor and has been for years, or I was a mentee and now I'm mentoring. So we're seeing the next generation of mentors. But yeah, there are a lot of businesses in town that really get behind mentoring. Just a few off. I mean, the ones that have been around for a long time. A lot of them do it.
I know Bison's one. He's been in here
Bison, before. Nick Cusick of Bison. Meritus, Nelnet, and Huddle. But there's a lot of them. I think 5'9s. Olson and Associates. So there's lots of them, and it's not total. I mean, in some ways it can be a little. It's not selfish, but it helps their business because what the research says is these people go out in the community. First of all, they're sharing they're representing their agency while they're out, and they're engaging the community. And then when they come back, they're more energized. They are more productive. Productivity increases. You give somebody an hour to go, and usually they can get to where they need to get and mentor for a class period, and then get back to work with just barely over an hour. But it just helps. It's like, and they'll say it's the best hour of my week, and it just energizes them. They feel good about it. And then they also are shown that they're valued by their company. And we love, and we go out and we train at people's work. If you can get 5 people at your work to mentor, we find that the training really only works well. It's interactive, and we need to have at least 5 people there. But we've gone out and we've trained at lots of places, and so it's we really appreciate those partnerships.
Do you ever see mentees that kind of follow that, and when they start getting old towards graduation, they're like, man, what do you want to be? And it's might be what their mentor's doing.
Yeah, we see that a lot for sure.
Yeah, that's one I mentioned about a month ago and it was real specific. So we meet with all the seniors and we get them ready for scholarships. We find scholarships for any student who's a teammate. And if they're going to college, we'll make sure they get a scholarship.
That's awesome.
Here in Lincoln. And then they're also eligible for the Teammates National Scholarships, so we really, really do support kids in that way. So I was working with a kid one day, and you ask them, what do you want to be? And they'll say, occasionally a nurse. You'll hear, I had a kid that wants to be an electrician. And this girl says, I want to be an insurance adjuster. and I'm like, well, that's really, really specific. And of course we know what happens there. Her mentor is an insurance adjuster. And once again, that's another example of where businesses really can benefit from this. Things, like Olson and Associates, that engineering firm there, it's, a mentee wouldn't have known that existed possibly.
I definitely wouldn't have at that age.
Yeah.
So something we ask all of our students that are on the wait list, we ask them, what do they want to do when they're older? 3rd through 5th is usually, I don't know, or vet or cop or
astronaut,
firefighter.
Probably a lot.
Right.
We kind of see some trends in the elementary age for sure. But when you get to middle and high school, it's really interesting on their nomination forms. We'll say what are you interested in doing in a future career? And I actually have a kid at Irving who's waiting, who wants to be an engineer. And so I know someone over at Olson, and I was talking to him, and he's an engineer. And so it's really cool that that we have the possibility of engineers, teachers, whatever profession it might be, going in and mentoring kids who already have an interest in that field, to say, oh, Olson is a great place you can go after you graduate. Or maybe you want to be a young child educator at this place. And so it just kind of shows that one of the mentoring principles we talk about is expanding possibilities. And that's one of them, that expands the possibilities of you're interested in this, look at the world that's ahead of you when you graduate. And so I think that's a really cool tie. When we know what a student's interested in and we have a mentor in that profession, we can make that match, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and as a coordinator, the teammates, not just you, but everyone over there being the coordinator, you guys do a great job. You hear a lot of that where the teammate, sometimes life happens, but a lot of times you hear those stories where they go all the way through graduation, and you get to hear those cool stories. And again, for the businesses, we got to throw it to our first break here, but if you are listening, it sounds like a pretty bunch of win-win for you. The mentee, for the community, and the business itself. It's a win-win. There's really no downsides to it. But we got to go ahead and throw it to our first break. Teammates Mentoring Hour here with Audrey Watson and Jim Bennett. I'm Harrison, running the ones and twos. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference. Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
Chances are you're a busy person. Chances are you'd rather not drive down to Beatrice for your favorite desserts. Chances are you'd really benefit from a Lincoln location for all of your fruitcake, liqueur cake, and breakfast bread needs. Insert Beatrice Bakery in downtown Lincoln. 1040 O Street, the new 93.7 The Ticket Studios. Just grab a cake out of the cooler, pay at the counter, and you're headed home with the delicious, fruity, nutty, decadent treat of your choice. Beatrice Bakery, online at beatricebakery.com or now in downtown Lincoln at 1040 O Street.
The weather is getting colder, the leaves are falling, and hockey season is back in full effect. Lock in your seats for all 3 Stars games next month for the price of 2 games by purchasing a November package today. You'll get tickets for Military Night on November 4th against Cedar Rapids, the November 17th playoff rematch versus Des Moines, and the Blackout Wednesday game against Tri-City on November 22nd. Don't miss out on 3 great nights at the Icebox. Get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and man, the October incentives get better. You won't want to miss this. Happening right now at Coppell, you have 0% financing or $6,500 off MSRP on select new half-ton crew cab pickups. Yes, you heard right. Happening right now until the end of the month. 0% financing or $6,500 off sticker price. Those incentives are the best we've seen this entire year. Hurry on in while supplies last. Just take that short money saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at CoppellCars.com. You'll be glad you did. All offers include trade-in bonus and with roof credit.
You had to know that when Wingstop set out to make a crispy, juicy chicken sandwich, they wouldn't make it in just one flavor. They'd make it in all 12, like lemon pepper, mango habanero, hickory smoked barbecue, and OG hot. So why have one new favorite chicken sandwich when you can have 12? Try the new sauced and tossed Wingstop chicken sandwich today for only $5.49 at Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Valid for a limited time and available at participating Wingstop locations only while supplies last. Price subject to applicable taxes and fees.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your link to forecast for today, we're expecting a chance of showers and storms to take place throughout the day. We'll see a high around 70. Tonight, showers and storms are likely. We'll see a low around 63. And tomorrow, more rain and more thunderstorms throughout the day. We'll see a high around 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Teammates Mentoring Hour. I am Harrison Arns, running the ones and twos here with Jim Bennett and Audrey Watson representing Teammates today. It is Jim Bennett, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. I was like,
we're the
Tim?
3s and 4s over here.
But we got 2 more segments left with these guys. If you guys want to join in anytime, 402-464-5685, or you can go to lincolnteammates.org, find out more information there. But going on this segment, we kind of left off talking about some of the businesses, how when they kind of join in, let their coworkers spend, just an hour, it has a huge effect. It's kind of a win-win. But what is that magic number that people are kind of expected to show up for? Obviously, life happens. To have perfect attendance is really, really hard in anything you do. So what is kind of that sweet spot?
Yeah, we're an evidence-based organization, so we know what the numbers are, right? We know that we want mentors to stay. Every year we shoot for the number 24. That seems to be the sweet spot. Now, and so that seems like a lot of meetings, right? 24 hours, but that's obviously over an entire. It's basically one day of volunteering for the whole year. But what that is during the school year. We only mentor during the school year, during the school day, and it's for one class period, so it's not really a full hour. Class periods are usually anywhere from 40 to 50 minutes, depending on elementary, middle, or high school. It just kind of depends. We pull them out of non-core classes, but there's 36 weeks in a school year, right? So we're not looking for perfection, and I think that's what I think. When I heard that, honestly, as a mentor, that was a relief to me to know that I can be sick and not feel guilty, or my mentee can it might have a test and ask to, and doesn't have to feel bad about it because I'll see him next week, and that 24 seems to be the sweet spot. Now, does that mean if you only meet 20 times in a school year, there's not benefits? No, there's still huge benefit, but that's kind of the mark that our data says. And then we do have data that shows that if you can stay together for 3 years, that's kind of the sweet spot there. And so 24 times a school year for 3 years. And then we know that there's some max benefit there.
What are some of those benefits? Sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Better attendance, better grades, better performance in school as far as behaviors go, higher graduation rates for mentees. We're right about 70% free and reduced lunch. So about 7 out of 10 of our mentees, their families live at or near that poverty line, which is and so those are indicators of lots of different kinds of things when you're struggling with those kinds of things in life, that it's hard to. School sometimes has to take a second, because you got to work for your family, or you got to do different kinds of things, and so those are indicators of lower graduation rates generally. But we see over a 90% graduation rate. The citywide average, I think, is about 84% or something like that. So it has all these benefits. But then the benefit that you really see is around hope.
I was just gonna say that. My favorite thing that's built with Teammates is hope.
Yep. I
love it.
We survey, and our mentees report overwhelmingly an increased sense of hope about the future.
That's awesome.
And so that is really it. And our data this year, 100% of the mentees we surveyed, and we surveyed over 600, I think, this year, 100% said that they trust their mentor. So, and any data folks out there know that you don't ever get 100% of anything
out of 600.
Out of 600. So there's something that just innately works with mentoring, and it works without any kind of design process other than you show up, be consistent, create a relationship.
So sorry, I mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Full of interruptions.
Yeah, we're cutting him off left and right here.
Jim, stop.
It's all right. I'll shut up.
The thing I think is really interesting, and why I love hope so much, is that every kid can benefit from a little hope building.
Mm-hmm.
So we continue to hear about Teammates being like an at-risk program. It's for kids who aren't passing their classes. It's for kids who have a lot of behavior problems or whatever. And so when we talk about improved academics, behaviors, and attendance, those things are all true, but we do have students in our program that do have perfect attendance, that do have straight A's,
Right.
who have never had a fight in their entire life. And that's great. We have lots of different kids in our program, but all of them can benefit from having that hope builder. Every kid can benefit from being able to see the future and have hope for what the future is going to bring,
Right.
and what their strengths and their abilities are, and how that's going to help them to
Right.
reach what their goals are in the future. So it doesn't matter if you're passing all your classes. It doesn't matter if you have poor attendance. A mentor is going to help you with building your hope.
We see nominations for students that have unrealized leadership potential. That's why they're getting a mentor, because they want to work on it, help them become a more effective leader. And they so it can be, you can become, I mean, let's face it, name one kid in this city that couldn't use another caring adult in their life, right?
So I
point.
just had a nomination actually for a student, and I reached out to get the parent permission. So we always have to get parent permission for a student to be in the program. So when I reached out to get that, the parent responded to me and was like, "Oh, I don't want her to take up a resource for another kid. I think she just thinks this would be a fun experience. But there's probably a kid that needs it more than her." And I said, "Listen, this is what her nomination said. It said she has a lot of leadership potential and that she is going to go really far in life.
Right.
And I think if you have a mentor that's doing a career that she's interested in, a mentor who has similar strengths and can talk about that with her, wow, someone to focus specifically on her strengths. Think about what that leadership could look like."
Mhm.
And so I explained that to this parent. She goes, "Oh, she does have so much leadership potential, and I would love for her to learn more about that." So it's for every kid. It's for
That's
every
cool.
kid to be able to develop whatever it is they want to develop, whatever their goals are. A mentor is here to help them reach them.
Would you say? Sorry,
No,
Sorry,
no,
cut you
I-
off again.
I did want to say that we have a lot of straight A students too that have mentors. So it's not a academic support may not be a reason why we're attaching or matching a mentor with a mentee. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is that one of the biggest misconceptions that
Yes.
you guys have, or is there any other misconceptions that
Absolutely.
you guys want to kind of quench?
I also think we have mentors that have that misconception, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not trained in youth development. I'm not trained in being a teacher or a coach,
Right.
and I'm not going to be able to handle if there's a behavior concern or whatever it might be." But we usually don't have. I mean, anyway, that's not a concern. And we reassure mentors that, there's that is not a concern, that they don't have to be the person with that's disciplinarian. They don't have to be the teacher. They don't have to be the administrator. They just get to be the caring adult that shows up. And a lot of kids can thrive on that one-on-one attention.
Yep.
And so I just think mentors get nervous about what that looks like, but we have supports at school in place for that. They don't have to worry about it. And
Right.
a lot of times our kids that are nominated don't have those behaviors at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd imagine, as you're, setting up those matches, there's going to be kids of every variety, as you're kind of speaking about, like, yeah, you might have some kids that there are behavioral issues. You have kids that are perfect attendance, straight A's. But when you guys are putting those together, those kind of things you look at, just kind of based where that kid's at in life and what this mentor can kind of help them out with.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We have some mentors that come and they just, maybe they grew up in foster care, or maybe they grew up with a lot of trauma in their life. And so there's someone that can relate with a student that maybe has experienced those things.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have mentors that maybe grew up in a, who knows, two parent household, had great grades in school, maybe didn't have a lot of speed bumps in life. And they would be a great mentor for a student too.
Right.
So like
Right.
we have all different kinds of backgrounds for students, but also for our mentors. And we look at that when we match.
Speaking of mentors, I know we kind of talked about it before, but it is a good message, especially for the guys out there. But for needs on mentors, what are you guys really needing that you think could be a huge benefit if you got more of this group?
Right. Well, we're on the ticket for a reason. We really do need more male mentors. Only about 38% of our mentors are male. So we have a lot of young men waiting who have said, I want to, and sometimes they go up and ask the school facilitator, said, have you found a match for me yet? Have you found it? And they'll do it on a weekly basis and just keep asking and asking and asking.
It's got to be heartbreaking for us to say no.
When I go into schools and talk with mentees, I have kids that come up to me and are like, "Are you my mentor?" can you be my mentor? Like these kids are reaching out because they want to have that person that's just for them, that one-to-one connection.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the need is larger than our resource base right now. We're going to serve about 1,300 matches this year. So when you talked about, showing up at a training and seeing people and being part of a community, that you're part of a network of people who are going out doing great things for young people. So so when I go out I have 2 mentees and they're both seniors this year, one at North Star and one at Lincoln High. And I go out and there's 7 other people in that library meeting at that same time, at Lincoln High. And so it's just one of those things. Yeah. But we definitely need more males.
We have a kid up in Northwest Lincoln that wants to be an NBA player. We have a kid down south at an elementary school that wants that loves basketball and is just the sweetest, kindest kid. We have lots of kids that want to be UNL football players,
Before we go to break, after you finish, do you mind go ahead and reading some of those? I know you bring those in every week, but go ahead and wrap up that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have kids that love art. Maybe you're an art person, you want to draw. I have a kid right here that I can read about, and he wants someone to come and draw with him that he can show off his drawings and will be just as proud about what he's created. So Ulysses is a 7th grader in South Lincoln. He's very artistic and creative and hopes to spend some time drawing with his mentor. He doesn't have a male role model at home, so a positive relationship with an adult makes a big difference for him. He was matched for several years with a mentor who recently moved out of town. We want to find someone for him that's able to stick through graduation. He just wants to show his drawings off. And then we also have Paige, who's a 7th grader in North Lincoln, and she wants to play football with her mentor. She plays basketball with her mentor.
That's awesome.
She just thinks that'd be fun to just throw the ball around and have someone that's there to talk to. And then we have a kid over at Everett, which is kind of this central area, and he wants to be a UNL football player. And so all of these kids are nominated for so many different reasons: leadership potential, future career, hope building. But they're all looking for a mentor. And that's the only thing they have in common, is that they're looking for a mentor. Otherwise, we have lots of different interests to match.
Absolutely. So if any of those names, as Audrey was reading those off, if any of those kind of clicked with you, thinking like, man, that is right up my alley. If you're someone who appreciates art, you're going to get a new art piece every week by the sounds of it. So again, we got
really
break
impressive
here.
Ones.
Yeah, about that. And what was the name of that one?
That one is Ulysses.
Okay, so again, if you're out there, go to LincolnTeammates.org. If you're curious, you can get more information there, or you can ask questions here at the Starter Heyman text line. And, if you want an email from either Audrey or Jim, I'm sure they can hand one out to you through the text line. But we'll go ahead and throw it to our final break here on the Teammates Mentoring Hour. We'll talk to you guys on the other side.
Don't go anywhere. More of the Teammates Mentoring Hour is minutes away on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Is your backyard ready for fun with friends and family this fall? GE Landscape Supply has pavers and boulders, which are a great accent for any landscaping project. And you can find them at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere, nearby or far away. Stop by at 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Go to gelandscapesupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415, or online at ambitionelectric.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Are you looking for a night of epic fun without breaking the bank? Look no further than Sun Valley Lanes and Games. Join us for our late night special every Sunday through Thursday night and enjoy non-stop action with our Unlimited Fun promotion. Unlimited Fun includes everything you need for an unforgettable night out. Unlimited bowling, unlimited laser tag, and unlimited lucky putt mini golf. Show a valid college or military ID at check-in and get $2 off your admission. Visit the daily rates page at sunvalleylanes.com for complete details.
Sun Valley.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
When it comes to tackling your fall projects, having the right equipment can make a huge difference. At Sunbelt Rentals, they have an extensive line of tools and equipment to help complete any job. From lawn and landscape equipment to hand tools, pressure washers, portable generators for you tailgaters, and much more. Sunbelt Rentals makes it easy to get what you need when you need it. Drop in to see the experts at 5450 Alvo Road in Lincoln, or visit sunbeltrentals.com today to learn how Sunbelt Rentals can make it happen for you.
Experience flexibility like never before with Ace Rent-to-Own. Whether you're decorating a new home or upgrading your electronics, they provide easy payment plan options that suit your budget. No credit checks, no hefty interest rates, just straightforward renting solutions designed with you in mind. Find great options to make a beautifully furnished space or surround yourself with the latest gadgets. With Ace Rent-to-Own, it's all within your grasp. Visit acerentoown.com and bring home more than just a product. Bring home a lifestyle.
The weather is getting colder, the leaves are falling, and hockey season is back in full effect. Lock in your seats for all 3 Stars games next month for the price of 2 games by purchasing a November package today. You'll get tickets for Military Night on November 4th against Cedar Rapids, the November 17th playoff rematch versus Des Moines, and the Blackout Wednesday game against Tri-City on November 22nd. Don't miss out on 3 great nights at the Icebox. Get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's time to get the Class A high school football playoffs rolling right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, Nick Sainer. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night from Seacrest Field as number 6 Lincoln Southeast faces off against number 11 Lincoln East. When these two teams met back on September 1st, the Spartans won a double overtime thriller, 31-28 over the Knights. The winner keeps their season alive while the loser goes home. It's the Lincoln Southeast Knights against the Lincoln East Spartans this Friday night in the first round of the postseason at 7 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Teammates Mentoring Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Teammates Mentoring Hour. Again, I'm Harrison Arns here with Jim Bennett and Andre Watson, both representing Teammates tonight for the Teammates Mentoring Hour. Before we get out here, the one thing I always like to do, and this one's going to have a lot of pressure on you guys because you did ask me to be a teammate before the show even started. I always ask, what's an elevator pitch for those who are on the fence, which would be AKA me. So you got to sell me on this one. Why you can be a teammate and everyone else who's listening out there. Again, teammates.org, just based on everything you've seen.
Say again.
I said I'm going first.
All right, you go first.
Because yours is going to be really good and I want to follow you. So my pitch is give me a call. Tell me what you're interested in, and I will find a student that can't wait to be mentored by you. So I came in tonight. I don't know if this was on air earlier, but I came in tonight with a student perfect for Harrison. And so now pressure's on for him to sign up. But I know that's a lot of hesitation. I know that's my husband's hesitation is he's like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to connect with the kid. I don't think a kid's gonna want to talk to me. And what am I gonna say? I'm not that interesting. Blah, blah, blah. Fill in the dots. Lots of things like that. But ultimately, I'm not going to be a good match. I will find a perfect match for you. There are so many kids with so many interests that are waiting to have a mentor that just shows up and engages with them once a week. And so we can find you a student. Just call us 402-436-1990.
Yeah, and I 100% believe that. We've talked about, the list before, and it's unfortunate thing, but there is a lot of kids on the list. But on the bright side, you can really make sure you get those great matches. The more mentors we have, the less kids we have waiting.
Well, theoretically, but
that's true. The
I
bigger
feel like
you
we're
guys
always
get,
going to have kids.
Yeah, there's always
so we
gonna be.
replace the hundreds of kids we have now. We're going to have more kids that are coming to the surface of wanting a teammate.
Yeah,
And so until we get all 42,000 served at LPS, I'm not sure we'll ever settle.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell a quick story about my mentee. Chris, I met Chris when he was in 7th grade. Matched with him. He didn't. It's funny because he doesn't give you feedback in our meetings, right? And I liked him right off the bat. We were playing games and doing things, but I wasn't able to really tell whether he wanted me there at some point because he's just, his family doesn't really communicate that way. He never learned it, hasn't been modeled it, and that's fine. We still had a good time. We were playing cards and enjoying each other, but I wasn't. It's hard to know what he was thinking. So I went to the facilitator there, and she said, "It seems to be working good, Jim. Just trust the process." And so I finally, at the end of the year, we give out these thank you cards, and I wrote Chris a thank you, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if he would just write some words down and tell me what he's thinking, because it's hard to know. I mean, I had a great year with him, but it just didn't know that, is it working? Is it not? Does he want me there? And I kept going in, and it got down to the very last, well, actually second to the last week of school. I went in, and the person in the front office goes, "Oh, here, I have something for you," and handed me a thank you card. And I'm like, "Oh my God, you wrote me a thank you." And I opened it up, and it was to a guy named Todd. And so I don't know who Todd is, but it's not me. And I go, this isn't mine. And she's like, "I'm so sorry." But but the last week of school, I walked in, and Christian had written me a thank you. And it said this, I have it memorized actually. It said, "Dear Jim, thank you for being my teammate this year. Couldn't ask for a better teammate." And then he said, "P.S. you'd better be my teammate again next year."
Oh, wow.
Right. And so that's what we're talking about when we talk about hope, and we talk about, we just want you to show up and build a relationship, and great things are happening. And so now fast forward, and Chris is going to be graduating this year. And like you said this last time, I said, I'm not saying I had to say anything major to do with it,
right?
But I definitely have at least a
share,
one share of this
Yeah.
that I've purchased, and I really am really proud of him. So that'll be my elevator pitch.
Yeah, I have one of those notes too. Just real quick, I'll mention it. And she wrote this super nice message and just brought me to tears. And she said at the bottom of it, "P.S." must be like a trendy thing right now. And she said, "P.S. I know you dropped a tear." She knows me well enough to know that those sappy words are going to get me.
That's incredible. And kind of what you guys were saying, like, you just don't always know when that stuff's going to come to fruition, that ripple effect. And I mention all the time, when I was younger, I wasn't always vocalizing what I was feeling. That's just kind of like a young kid thing to do, especially for guys. Probably hide your emotions a little more. You're not going to be super sappy.
Sure.
But that last week, especially when you're getting in words, I feel like that's when people really open up. But it's super cool. LincolnTeammates.org. If you guys want to check it out, become a mentor, check out one of the training spots that are open. They can have that for you. But again, this is Teammates Mentoring Hour with Jim Bennett, Audrey Watson. Appreciate these guys as always for representing teammates and doing it well. We will talk to you guys next week.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
It's time to get the Class A high school football playoffs rolling right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, Nick Sainer. Join me and Jay Foreman this Friday night from Seacrest Field as number 6 Lincoln Southeast faces off against number 11 Lincoln East. When these two teams met back on September 1st, the Spartans won a double overtime thriller, 31-28 over the Knights. The winner keeps their season alive while the loser goes home. It's the Lincoln Southeast Knights against the Lincoln East Spartans this Friday night in the first round of the postseason at 7 p.m. right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Experience flexibility like never before with Ace Rent-to-Own. Whether you're decorating a new home or upgrading your electronics, they provide easy payment plan options that suit your budget. No credit checks, no hefty interest rates, just straightforward renting solutions designed with you in mind. Find great options to make a beautifully furnished space or surround yourself with the latest gadgets. With Ace Rent-to-Own, it's all within your grasp. Visit acerentoown.com and bring home more than just a product. Bring home a lifestyle.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Feet, Muir's Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's the Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, the Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we're expecting a chance of showers and storms to take place throughout the day. We'll see a high around 70. Tonight, showers and storms are likely. We'll see a low around 63. And tomorrow, more rain and more thunderstorms throughout the day. We'll see a high around 71. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, this is Jake Sorensen alongside my friend, longtime former colleague of mine, Ben Bleicher of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Professional Realty Group in the first edition of Get Real with Ben Bleicher, the real estate mogul of Lincoln, Nebraska. How about that? Can I go with that? Is that okay? Can I say mogul?
Whale.
No. Well, this is going to be the first edition of the show. We're going to go through every week. Ben is going to be in here talking about right now the world of real estate. It's ever changing. It's something that really it rides a lot of different waves. Sometimes it's a good buying season. Sometimes it's really not, and a good time to sell. And so we are thrilled to have Ben Bleicher again here for the first time ever. Yeah, say hi to the camera. It's fine. Ben, hello, and I guess introduce those for those who don't know you. Again, they should probably see your billboards around town. They've seen your different signs and yards around town for all the houses you have sold.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But tell people again when you got into real estate, why we know each other, and again how you got to be where you're at right now.
I got into real estate 2014. I'll be a decade old in the business next May, so we're just about there. I originally got in, a buddy of mine, and I'll just give him a shout out. I don't think it matters. Boomer Peterson. He's a commercial guy in town. Talked me into getting my license. He said I'd be good at it, thought I'd be a good fit. And he was right. It turned out to be the career that I will be in for the rest of my life. So thank you, Boomer. Before that, I worked in advertising for a long time. Worked in radio, worked in print, a couple other things, which really made me good at real estate, because the hardest thing to do well is marketing properties. And that's a big deficit that a lot of, some agents have, is they don't do enough of it, which is our job, So I'm very good at marketing things. And it was a great caveat to get into real estate, in my opinion.
Well, again, so you have been in the business now for almost 10 years. That's hard for me to believe, because I knew you back in the day here in Lincoln. You were worked at the Ticket back in the day.
Yep, and I worked at the Ticket.
You have been here, so we appreciate that. We appreciate what you've done in terms of your time here in Lincoln, and obviously with the early goings of the station, which by the way has changed a lot since you were here. We are now at 1040 O Street. We used to be down in the the little dungeon at 48th and R, which was special. It was special. But now you can see O Street here. You can see all the people driving by.
You can see it in the background right there.
You can driving by in their cars. It's a wonderful thing. But
rockstar status.
So, okay. So I would say this. We talked before we started things off here that it's such a big decision when you are doing real estate, when you're trying to buy a house. What is trying to find
the biggest?
It's a big decision.
It's the largest.
It's a large investment. It's a large investment, and people like myself, I'll admit, I own a townhouse with my wife, and there'll be a time we need to buy a bigger house, and it's a big investment. It's a big commitment in your life. So let's walk through this process here, because people come to you, they trust you. You've done a really good job over the last 9 years of becoming a person of trust in this community, and even outside of Lincoln also. But when you meet with someone for the first time and they're looking to buy, let's start with buying a house.
Well, you have to buy a house before you can sell one.
You do. So I'm curious, what's the first conversation? What is the first thing you're telling them in terms of what are the questions you are asking them in that meeting?
So we'll dig into the specifics of all these steps throughout the shows. Obviously, we have to save something to be desired or not.
That's true.
Well, we couldn't fit it into 45 minutes of the show anyways, or an hour. First thing we talk about, and I guess this is dependent whether we meet somebody as a lead through like a Zillow or Realtor.com. But if we meet them and we don't know them, generally the first thing we're doing is meeting them at a property. So we don't always know whether they have been pre-approved, whether they've taken any of the financial steps that really should be the first step. But again, so if we're meeting a lead that we get, generally we meet them in a property, show it to them. I always discourage people from buying the first house they see. I don't care if it's perfect for them. I want them to see the whole gambit. I want them to experience 50 houses rather than one. I'll sleep better at night knowing that they've seen a bunch. But once we get that first meeting out of the way, the perpetual handshake and whatnot, we talk financing because there's really no reason to go super far until you know what you can afford. I mean, we'll have people call us to look at a $200,000 house, and not realizing they can afford a $400,000 house, but also vice versa. They'll call us on 400 and find out they, don't have a high enough paying job to afford it. So it's like we want to get them pre-approved and find out where they qualified, and not just to save our time, but to save their time. I mean, there's nothing worse to crush someone's hopes than showing them a bunch of $400,000 houses to find out they can only afford $250,000.
Yep.
I mean, that's damaging, literally, like that. It's painful. We've lost clients, not lost them, but some people have decided, I just don't want to buy. Like I got my hopes up so high, and now I found out I can't really afford what I want. And so I'm just not even going to buy a house. And people should buy houses. It's the ultimate, grower of equity, we're in a business where, or not a business, I guess, just an area of something that never really goes down. Historically, I mean, real estate only goes up. Our parents were buying houses. Well, your folks are a little younger than mine, Jake, but
a little bit, just a little bit, not that much.
Like when my dad bought his first house, when he was going to med school in Iowa City, I think he paid less than 30 for it. This is back in like the 80s, early 80s, when I was either not born yet or very young. He bought a decent house, and he paid, a few tens of thousands of dollars for it. Probably had a very high interest rate, but it didn't matter back then because the cost sort of balanced out and made it more affordable. And we'll get into the politics of that. That has obviously shifted. Now interest rates are back up again. Not to what there's people that paid 18% back in the 80s, which is, if you put that in front of
what percent?
18.
Wow.
16, 17, 18.
Oh, I did not know
but
that.
on $30,000, that's
it's true.
Nominal.
That's right now, that'd be
but
impossible.
apply that to my house or your townhome.
Yep.
It's literally not affordable. No, it's not affordable. Your debt to income ratio would be like out of control.
I want to go back quickly. You said something earlier on and to start off that you encourage people to not buy the first house they see. Well, let me give you a counter to that and see if you'd still stand by that. Let's say I have desired a house for years. There's a house in the market I've wanted to buy, goes in the market, and you're the one that's underneath it. Is it still okay at that point to look around? That's dream house here, Ben.
That's situational.
Okay.
That's different. But so let's be a little more specific. First time buyer. Your normal first time buyer is not generally in that situation unless they're looking at like their family home or something that they grew up in. And I know that I tried to buy my dad's old house at one point. The guy wouldn't sell it to me. And that's kind of a funny story that I'll tell on a later show.
Please,
but
we can look forward to that.
I have approached the people who own my old house. The reason I discourage them is because opinions change, and you don't know what you don't know. And it's super exciting to buy a house. So people get caught up in the emotions of all the excitement, and they think they want something. And what I do is I challenge them to think a little more critically, because and a million clients that are watching this that I've helped buy houses have seen me give the same reference. Your list of things you want and or need, but it's usually just want, is here. And your list of things you don't want doesn't even exist. It's like down at the floor. But as you look at like way more houses, eventually they start to like level out a little bit. And you realize things you don't like. But you don't know until you've seen a variety of things. I have a drill that I will do frequently where I will tell a client or clients, I'll get them pre-approved, find out what they can spend. I'll put them in a search on my website so they can see everything that's in the price point that they want. And I'll say, pick your 5 favorite houses, and I'm going to pick you up. We go look at all 5, and I say, don't buy a house today. Like, do your best not to buy a house. Well, we're not going to buy houses. We're going to educate ourselves and explore and see what's out there, because there's so many factors that people don't. I mean, I have a client who called me from Boston a week ago that, we started talking, and through the discovery process of me pushing for this, was very, very concerned with the quality of the school that his child is going to go to for he and his wife. and it completely changed our search from where we had originally started. So, but again, you don't know what you don't know. So until you get the gears turning a little bit, you're not always in the best mind state. So that's why I would prefer there be a process. And at the end of the day, I buy and sell real estate as my profession. I want people to eventually upgrade and stuff like that, but I want them to do it when the time's right. I don't ever want anybody to buy the wrong house and then call me in 2 years and say, oh, like, I wish we would have thought about this more. There's so much about this house we don't like. Now I have to sell it, because then the conversation I have with them is not, oh, hey, you got like tons of equity. It's like, ooh, can you stick it out for 2 more years? Because you're not quite there yet. The 5 to 7 year rule, which they told me when I bought my first house, is you needed to own it for 5 to 7 years to have enough equity to make money when you sell it. That rule still applies. It's probably exaggerated at this point because of what's happened in the market. I mean, you could have bought a house in 2019 and sold it in 22 and made 75 grand. But the market has definitely settled a little bit. And you wouldn't want to buy a house today thinking that in 3 years that will happen again, because we've gone back to what it was like before COVID and before the market was insane and 2% interest rates and crap. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, on that note, so I'm fortunate with our townhouse that we refinanced our house back when the rates were low in the middle of COVID, which is awesome considering where they're at right now. A lot of people were probably scared to do that, didn't want to do anything with money, even though that was probably saving the money in doing so. They missed out on an opportunity. So rates are high right now. I mean, when you try to, it's hard to forecast to know how this is going to fluctuate. But you and your business, knowing this does affect the buying and selling process of this. How do you have that conversation with somebody who is looking to buy or sell, knowing where those rates are at now compared to where they have been and where they could be in the future?
I mean, we're forecasting, and not just me, but people who have positions at brokerages that do like trading and things like that watch the stock and bond markets. Everybody, including bankers and us, are anticipating in the next 18 months they will go back down. Now, will they ever go to twos again? I almost hope not. That was great, but it also caused the issue that we're having right now because they left it at that rate too long. So the conversation we have is buy what you can afford now, even if it's just a little more than you can afford, knowing that within the next somewhere between 12 and 24 months, you can refi. And generally, there's no penalty for refinancing. And when they do come back down, just like last time we had an economic issue back in 07, 08, a lot of the banks were offering free refinances. I mean, you still had some like nominal fees, but you didn't have to pay like really high closing costs. They made it a little easier on people because they want us to be able to afford things so we can take out more loans on cars and things like that. I mean, that's what keeps our economy churning.
That's true.
Yeah.
He was joined by Ben Blanker. He is with Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. This is our first edition of our weekly podcast we're going to have here regarding the update on real estate, not just in Lincoln, but in general. For those who are curious about buying and selling, Ben has a lot of great ideas. He's done it for almost 10 years now, been very successful in the Lincoln market. But I want to go to another thing, Ben, because another issue, I think, in terms of real estate is, let's say Lincoln, Nebraska, for example. This is a city that's growing. People are moving to Lincoln. It's not a city where people are vacating and there's tons of empty houses. It's the opposite, where there's not enough houses for people who want to move here or move from an apartment into a house. So when you look at trying to the next 5-10 years of looking in Lincoln, Nebraska, specifically a growing city, compared to other cities that might be dwindling out that are losing people, how does that change? Like even the growth, the new developments and trying to get people to be able to move into those. What's that like right now, or in the future of this town?
Right now, new construction, honestly, which we need to drive existing construction, because if there's no new houses built, the old ones or the existing ones really can't go anywhere.
Sure.
Right now, currently, the state of that is not at its best. We're seeing a handful of builders that already haven't made it. even though I
Really?
think we're just kind of at the beginning of this. It's not funny, but it's.
I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
It is what it is. There's a lot of them that should have seen this coming in every industry. I mean, there's people that get overzealous and ahead of themselves and don't leave enough padding. And that's not just real estate. There's tons of businesses like that. But anyways, back to the topic. New construction has slowed down tremendously. I think when the rates settle down, even back into the 5s and the 6s, that will kick up again. I mean, you could start building a house now if you're building 500 to 700,000, which unfortunately is sort of the entry level to some of these newer neighborhoods because the lots are kind of expensive and building materials have not gone down tremendously yet. Some have leveled out, like lumber has definitely come down. That was so high for a long time that it made housing almost unaffordable for a lot of people. But let me get back on track on this. Anyways, when things settle down a little bit, it will pick back up, but it is certainly booming. I mean, the Southwest corridor is huge. Yankee Hill, Rokeby, not quite to Saltillo yet. And that, I would say Southwest in this classification would be roughly 14th, like 56th. Yankee Woods area, 84th and Yankee Hill blowing up. East Lincoln, they moved the sewer from O Street to Van Dorn at 120th. So that's why everything east of 84th is just exploding. And that will continue. It's just going to take a brief pause. But that has to tick up if we want existing construction to get back on track. There's a lot of things. And I don't have the answer to all of them. But this is what's going to be fun about this show is we're going to have hopefully people on here that are smarter than us, that know more about things.